friends, welcome to my X Marks the Spot reading vlog. This is going to be a pretty short reading vlog. It's only going to be a couple of days, but here's how this idea came about. If you watched my March TBR, you'll know that I put this book on that list. I need to read it for a work event, and that is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. I was trying to figure out how I could incorporate this book in some sort of little reading challenge, reading vlog, and I noticed that there was obviously an X in his last name, and I was like, that's kind of unique. I don't see many books with X's on it. I mean, there was always those alphabet challenges that go around, and I know a lot of people tend to struggle with the letter X in particular. But I was just like, let me look through my shelves anyway, see if anything pops out. And so obviously I have this one to read, but I did also find my copy of The Devotion of Suspect X by Kigo Higashino. I don't know what this one's about at all, but it was for the Literally Dead book club. I just never got around to finishing it or starting it, to be quite frank. So I figured, I have a couple days. These are a decent length. It'll get 2 books off of my TBR. So let's go ahead and just read together, and I'll jump in when I have my first few thoughts of either one. I think I'm going to start with this one just because, it has to be done. So I'd like to get started on it. All I've gathered about this one is it's kind of a Groundhog's Day inspired fantasy about our main character, Davy, who has done everything before. She's fought the Dark Lord time and time again, and I believe the Dark Lord just keeps winning. So she decides, you know what, maybe if she wants to get out of this time loop, she needs to become the Dark Lord herself. So I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to go. When I kept hearing about the premise and the title, obviously, it's very eye-catching. I didn't quite realize it was going to be a Groundhog's Day endless loop kind of situation. I don't know how this is going to go, but I am excited to give it a shot. I do, like I said, have that author event, so hopefully I at least enjoy it a little bit. He does have other books I could give a shot as well, but this is obviously the main one. This is what I'm going to start with, and I'll just check in once I've made a little bit of progress. Good morning, friends. It is the next day now. I know I didn't check in with you much yesterday, but I really didn't do a whole ton. I took Charmin on his couple of walks. We've already started them this morning again as well. He's over there exhausted from the heat. Yesterday I did manage though to get to page 68 of How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. I'm so obsessed with this. I can 100% see why someone would start reading this and basically immediately DNF it. It is really a style that either works for you or absolutely does not work for you. It's a lot of sarcasm, it's a lot of breaking the fourth wall, kind of like Deadpool. This gives a lot more Happy Death Day than it does Groundhog's Day, in my opinion, where it's just a lot more cynical. Like, she's angry about the fact that her life keeps restarting. So we're following Davi, and as I said, her life keeps restarting. She doesn't really know how she got to this magical world that she's in. But basically, every single time she does, the quest and stops the Dark Lord from, taking over, she ends up losing anyway. So she's tired of all these restarts, and she says, you know what, I'm going to become the Dark Lord, because clearly all my other methods just are not working. All you're really exploring right now, this early on, is a little bit of the world, because she's made it very clear that no matter how much time she's spent in this world, there's still a lot of things that she has not been able to grasp and understand, even stuff such as the language or how these magical gemstones work. But what this story is really doing is giving you a narrative style that, like I said, either hits or doesn't, but it's definitely what the point of this book is. Davi as a character and the narrative style following her, more so than the bigger story going on. That could be a bit presumptuous of a statement since I have so much still to go, but if this writing style continues, it's like I said, it's either if you're a fan of things like Deadpool, Happy Death Day, that cynical, sarcastic humor, breaking the fourth wall, or you'll find it really grating and really annoying to drudge through. Those are honestly what I think the two spectrums would be. I couldn't really think of a person who would feel in between on it. Watch, by the end of this, I'll be that person who feels in between. But right now I'm loving it. I'm obsessed. One of the aspects that surprised me the most is the fact, though, that there are footnotes throughout. And if you know me, you know that I love Emily Wilde and I love books with footnotes. And these footnotes basically always being some sarcastic remark or some world building, but with a tongue-in-cheek tone, are just really working for me. I also was able to get a hold of the audiobook, and I gotta say, I'm obsessed with it. It's really good. I think it does a great job of giving Davi a voice and breaking out into the footnotes. It just is really working for me as an entire package. So I'm really happy with this. I think that I can totally see what audiences to pitch this to at work, which I think is going to be really helpful information as well. So most of today is going to be reading more of this. I am also reading some other books for like personal book clubs. Like I'm working through Wicked, which is interesting. So I'm going to continue with that as well, but I'm not going to obviously discuss it here, but it is already Tuesday now, and I need this vlog up by Friday. So we're going to chug along. I have a meeting in just about half an hour to do some computer work, but then I'm free for the day. So I have a pretty busy next few days coming up, so I'd really like to spend today doing very little. I'll probably be back once I'm more like 250 pages in and then wrap up later. So you look forward to that. Friends, it is Thursday morning, which means I need to get a move on. It's actually like 11 a.m., which is even a little later than I'd like. I just had kind of a slow morning because last night we hosted in real life reading sprints at my job again, which was a lot of fun. We had a great turnout. It was like 25 people all reading together, having a great time. And I did manage to get up to about page 190 of How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. I pitched this book so hard at that reading sprints event because I was just literally sitting in the corner and just like covering my mouth because I was giggling so hard. I'm obsessed with this book. It's so much fun. I really recommend you give it a try. Even if you want to like do a sample online, I think you'd really get an idea of if you like it or not and then decide if you want to get it and continue it from there. But I'm having a wonderful time. There are more adventures happening. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but obviously for the story to progress, our main character has to be trying to stay alive. And I'm just struggling because our main character is so nonchalant with feelings, but not in a disrespectful or dismissive way. She's just dealt with so much loss, and you can tell she's just almost like, you know, traumatized, PTSD'd from the experience of forming bonds, losing bonds. So now she just doesn't, like, she still cares about the people around her, but she like keeps them at arm's length. I'm just stressed because if we're gonna follow her through this whole journey, and obviously I don't know what's gonna happen, so I will not confirm or deny these feelings later, but if something happens, I'm going to be devastated because I love these characters too. I just don't even know how I would comprehend and move on from that. So I'm having a great time. I didn't realize that the top quote up here is saying it's outrageously fun, filled with humor, action, and unexpected warm-heartedness by Fonda Lee. And I'm just like, oh, Fonda Lee. If Fonda Lee read this and thought it was like emotional and warm-hearting, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna have happy tears, sad tears. I don't know what to expect, but I'm having a great time. I'm probably just gonna check in when I finish now because I only have like 60% left. I know Meg from Meg with Books is doing Patreon sprints in just about 5 minutes, so I'm probably going to jump onto those. And when I'm back, I'll probably either be crying or talking about the end of the book, or like my final thoughts. Hi friends, so I have finished How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, and I loved this. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a very solid 5-star. I thought it was amazing. The only note I would take from this is because the writing style is so kind of goofy and silly, you're gonna think that the story, I don't know, would maybe go faster than it does, but there is a bigger fantasy plot happening, so you do get a lot more fleshed out fantasy scenes than I had expected, but I had a great time with those scenes. It's just like once I got to page 230, I was like, there's a lot still to happen. But I had a great time. I highly, highly recommend it. Like I said, at least try a sample, see how you feel about it. With that though, that is X number 1 done. So I am going to go ahead and start and hopefully finish tonight my other book for this vlog, being The Devotion of Suspect X by Kigo Higashino. I still don't really know what this one's about other than being a suspenseful mystery thriller. It does say it has something to do with a mother and a daughter and another man and a detective, so I'm thinking we're going to have a lot of different perspectives, which I think will keep the book moving pretty fast considering it's pretty short. I do believe this is a translated Japanese novel as well, so I'll keep you updated on my thoughts. We are going to go ahead and run to the store real fast, and I think we're going to pick up dinner tonight because in going with this vlog theme, I thought it was a pretty good excuse to get Mexican food. So X marks the spot on some tacos and queso. Hi friends, it is like 11:30, 11:40 now. I managed to get to 20% in, or about page 55 of The Devotion of Suspect X, and I'm pretty hooked. The writing, a lot of times people tend to say that like Japanese translated fiction does have a bit of a dryness in narrative style, and I've noticed that on a couple things, but it never bothers me. Before thrillers that I've read that are translated, it usually works because of just the general nature of the story. So I'm not having like any issues with it. I'm having a great time. We are following 3 narratives for the most part so far. I'm not going to go into what happened, but there's basically a crime committed, and you are following 3 people that are connected in some way. The first of which is a mother who is a single mother and is like just not in like the best place right now. Then there's also her neighbor who seems to have some sort of connection or interest in her. And then you're following third, which is like the detective who's trying to figure out how and if, just what happened in general. And I'm intrigued. The detective was definitely very quickly giving me Death Note vibes, where he was just like this and this and this and then connected through this, and I was like, but it's fine. I'm still having a good time. I don't know what I would rate this. It's way too soon to have any speculations on that, but I am going to go ahead and lay down for the night. I might listen to this a little bit in bed. I am doing the audiobook, and the audiobook's really, really good. I think that the narrator, it doesn't feel like he's just reading the lines. Like, it feels like he's putting well done of inflections on different, statements. So that's a vibe. But I'm going to go ahead and lay down and listen a little bit more. I'll probably take this to bed because I do want to eyeball it as well. So I'm going to go do that. And then I'll check in tomorrow. I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm hoping to get pretty far before work, if not finish before work. So it might be an early morning. Either way, I will see you then. Good morning, friends. So last night, I'm actually really proud. I ended up making it to page 120 while I was like laying down and chilling. It's like another 20%. And I'm really enjoying it. I think the biggest thing is just this book. Emmett's reading it now. This is his bookmark. But this book was so silly, goofy. I want to say mostly lighthearted. Even when serious things were happening, it was pretty goofy. This is like a swing in the opposite direction. It's very, very serious. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of cat and mouse of, can the detective figure out what happened and trying to hide what happened? And it's fine. I did hope that there would be a little bit more suspense. Like, where there's a lot of tension, I don't feel a lot of suspense. I don't feel like I got to explore the characters enough to feel really connected to them. especially for me as a character-based reader. That's why this worked so much for me, was the character. This one, I don't dislike the characters, but I don't like them enough to be worried for their safety. I think that could change, especially with the mother and daughter. I feel most connected to them, but like I don't really care if the detective does his job. You know what I mean? I am about to head out to work, so I'll probably try and listen to this on the drive there and the drive back, but this vlog's probably gonna go up. I think I'm confident I'm gonna finish this today and edit this today and get it up today being Friday, but I don't feel like it's gonna be up in time. Like, my usual schedule is around noon, and it's already gonna be 11 when I get to work, and I obviously can't read and edit and film while I'm at work. So you'll see me at some point today. Hi, if you're watching this, hello. I'm gonna go ahead and leave, but I am going to keep listening to this. I would say, I mean, it's so short that as of right now, I'd recommend it. I did see some reviews that said they didn't love how it ends. I obviously won't give any spoilers for it, but I'm intrigued to see, because right now I'm like, what is gonna keep me hooked? Hello. So, I've gotten home from work, and it's a little bit later, but I did go ahead and finish the devotion of Suspect X. But I'm going to tell you about it in just a second, because I want to show you something exciting that just came in and use it for the first time. And that is that I ordered microphones for the first time, just to connect to my phone. I've been kind of putting it off because I was waiting until I got like a better camera, but I've kind of like come to the conclusion that if I'm out in public filming anything, I'm not ready for the commitment of a full camera yet. So we're gonna make my phone continue to work as long as I can. And so I got a microphone, and it's pink. I'm so happy with it. It came with 2 of them. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on now, and then I will use it for the first time ever to tell you about the devotion of Suspect X, and you can tell me if you think the microphone was good. This is very exciting for me. I don't know where I'm supposed to hold it yet, like higher or lower. So I'm gonna hold it here, and I hope it sounds nice and crispy like a McDonald's Coke. I finished the devotion of Suspect X, and I really liked it. I kind of started falling out of interest a little bit toward the middle part. It was really reminding me of, if you ever go to a water park, do you know that ride that's basically like, it's like a toilet bowl, and you like spin around and around and around, and it narrows and narrows and narrows. And that's what reading this kind of felt like. I felt like I was just knowing all the information and just waiting for certain pieces to click. I will say, by the time I got to the part that I think is the part that other people don't like, I actually think I like it. I think that it's a bit of a bold decision, and I do have some logistic questions about this book. I don't know if part of that is like thinking about American detectives and what they're allowed to do compared to Japanese detectives and what they're kind of allowed to do. But as far as just enjoying the story for what it was, I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give it, I think, a 4-star. Maybe if I wanted to be annoying, I'd give it like a 3.8. But I think that I would actually get yelled at if I did that by someone, so I'm going to give it a 4. I actually thought I would be maybe getting rid of this book when I was about halfway through, but I think I'm going to hold on to it for now. I think I could see myself bringing it up eventually in some kind of conversation, maybe recommending it to a friend and giving them my copy. Overall, though, this was fun. This was a fun vlog. I read 2 pretty great reads. I mean, I flew through them both, and one was a 5, like a new favorite, and one was a pretty strong 4. For someone who already doesn't like thrillers, that's a success. I hope this microphone was a fun moment. Thank you for testing it out with me for the very first time. I'll probably use it to film my book haul for the first time and all those goodies. I mostly got it because I'm starting to plan trips to Disney World with my partner, and I was like, I need something to be able to talk into if I wanted to film it all, so I got this, and we'll see how it goes. So look forward to that at the end of March, early April. I'll have some sort of vlog coming out. And yeah, I'm gonna go. What day is today? Friday. I've said that a couple times. So I will see you on Tuesday, I think, with a book haul. Bye!